Hey guys, what is up? Well, today is our Christmas video, and oh, look who's here.
I told you to wait for me.
I told her I was getting ready. I said, let's go. We got a video to put out. I guess you were in there doing all that girly stuff, huh?
I didn't even put on makeup. I hurried.
Okay. I know a lot of you are going to be glad to hear from her today. She's usually always the one behind the camera, making me look good.
And that's not always easy.
Hey.
True.
So to end 2022, we are going to cover the things that we went through today, where we traveled, some of the hurdles that we had to overcome.
There's been a few of them this year.
Yep. Also, I have just recently been diagnosed with liver cancer. Details coming up on RV Street. Okay, let's get right to it. These last couple of years have been crazy, right? I mean, we've had COVID. That scared the crap out of everybody in this country. That was a challenge. We have high inflation,
Yeah.
high gas prices, and world events that are just going crazy.
Absolutely.
And then this week, I was diagnosed with liver cancer. And we're going to get into more of that later in this video. So, Joanie, why don't you bring everybody up to date so I don't start talking and take up all... People have already heard me enough all year. They want to hear you.
Sure.
So give them kind of a wrap-up of where it all started this year and how we decided to do what we did.
Well, with the world going crazy and extremely high gas prices, we decided that we were going to stay on our lot down here in RGV. And as we were sitting here and it was getting hotter and the park was emptying out, because most of the people that live in this park, they're only here for the winter.
Yeah, and they're all retired.
Yeah, and it's fun in the winter, but as we were sitting here and there was only maybe 20% of the people in this park, it got pretty boring.
Yeah.
So we were sitting one night and we were talking about missing Maine and, you know, our family and whatnot.
And just traveling in general.
Yeah, we just made the decision. Let's just do it.
We're just sitting here and thinking, and I said to Joanie, I said, you know, who knows? We might not even be alive next year. We need to just get out of here and do our thing.
So the next morning I used TripWizard and I got up and I plotted us a route. I normally have us meander on up there and it will take 2.5 months. We fast-tracked it and we did it in 13 days.
Yeah.
That was pretty grueling.
I wrote down some notes here so I can get this right. To go to Maine and back here is 6,400 miles. And we spent $3,936 in gas. Illinois had the highest gas price per gallon, by far. When we got to Illinois, we're like, whoa.
Yeah.
It was crazy high. But gas was high everywhere else, too.
Oh, absolutely.
Now, this $3,900 and change in gas, that was so much more money than we are used to. Normally, when we're traveling, I always tell her, okay, I'm at about a half a tank. Let's start thinking about getting gas, right? And in the past, I would pull over, and I usually could fill up that tank for under $100. Mm-hmm. Not this year. This year, it was usually about $150, $175 or up. And that was from a half a tank, or maybe just a little less than a half a tank. But you know what? In the big scheme of things, it just doesn't matter.
It really doesn't. And we're very glad we made that trip.
We
Hiccups and all, we're glad we made the trip.
Yeah. Now, we did have a couple of mishaps on that trip up to Maine. Joanie, why don't you tell them the first one we ran into in Horseheads, New York?
We were spending the night in a Cracker Barrel, and Martin noticed that the house batteries were not charging. And he was like, what is going on with this?
We just spent one night there, And the following morning, got ready to go, cranked up the coach, glanced over and looked at my scan gauge. Scan gauge was showing that the alternator was charging, but when I glanced over at my battery digital readout, it was not charging the house batteries.
So then, of course, Martin being Martin, he obsessed about that until our next stop, and he got to look at things closer.
And I realized that the solenoids were the problem. So I told Joanie, I said, well, it's okay. We'll get to Maine fine, because as we left Horseheads, we're staying at other campgrounds along the way till we finally got to Maine. So we'd be able to plug in and it would charge the house batteries then and all of that. So I wasn't worried about the trip, but all of a sudden now I've got that job on my list when we arrive in Maine.
So we are traveling along. We stop at a campground in Maine. It's Wells, Maine. And it was just an overnight stop. And we decide that we're going to dump our tanks. So we go and try to dump our half bath tank, and nothing was happening.
I fiddled around with it with some, and I finally, after about 20 minutes, I finally got it dumped. And then I realized, well, there's another thing that I got to deal with once we get to Maine. And then we went on up further into Maine to her older brother's house, and we had another big issue happen there about 5 or 6 weeks later. And I'm not going to reveal that right now. That is going to come out this spring. But all in all, the coach ran fantastic.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So one of the things that we do when we go to Maine for fun is that up there they have an annual cornhole tournament. And Joanie and I love playing cornhole. We've really grown, and we just love playing that game. And we actually have bought 2 regulation cornhole boards. We bring them with us. We tow them in our one of our big bays. But Joanie, why don't you kind of give them an update of what happened there?
Well, 2 years ago, the first time we did this, we came in 3rd place.
Yeah.
And, that was pretty cool. This year, we get into the tournament, and guess where we placed this time? 3rd again. And we got beat by 7th graders.
It's very humbling to admit this, especially you guys who know how to play cornhole. We had them beat 12-0 right off the bat. 12-0. They had a big crowd over there.
Well,
rooting.
yeah, and I think we got to say this, the crowd was like, come on, they're kids. And, I'm like, hey, I'm not the bad guy here. I'm playing a game.
Yeah, we felt like some demons from hell. We needed to give these kids the victory. Well, no, I'm not giving them no victory. I came in here to smash this game.
Yeah.
Had them done 12-0. Game is almost in the bag, and they not only started shooting really good, but we had a few bad rounds, and they ended up beating us.
No, I think you should say, and then we started shooting really bad.
Well, certainly weren't on our A game. And we lost to them 21-20. But anyway, yeah, cornhole, 3rd place, 2nd year in a row. Another thing that's happened this year is, Joanie, you want to talk about your hair?
Ah, the hair. Yes. Notice it's a little darker. This has kind of been a 2-year process of me growing out my hair. I found it very difficult while you're traveling to find somebody to color my hair. Somebody that was good, that didn't turn my hair orange or whatnot. And I finally, about 2 years ago, I just looked at Martin and I said, I am so over this. I am just going to let my natural highlights, gray, just come in and just deal with it the way it is. So this has actually been 2 years. And while we were in Maine over the summer, I went and had all the rest of the ends of the blonde all cut out of there. So, yeah, and actually, it's a whole lot easier.
Yeah. She's been blonde most of the time that I've known her, but it was colored blonde. She's a natural brunette. She approached me a couple years ago and just said, Martin, what do you think about me just letting my hair grow out, letting the grays come in? I'm so sick of coloring this hair. Can't ever find anybody that can do it right. And I said, hey, Whatever you want to do, honey.
Yeah, he said it's your hair. And trust me, for about 2 years, I wore a hat. It wasn't the best looking thing in the world, but you know, now it's
Yeah.
done, it's over, and I'm very happy that I made that decision.
Yeah. And I know a lot of you girls know exactly what we're talking about. You know, when you get up in years, it's a battle always trying to stay pretty and at your best and all the make. I don't even think you put on makeup just now, did you?
No, I did not. Basically, right now, what you see is what you get.
That's
because,
it.
Yeah.
I mean, look at us here. This is our Christmas video. Is this? We're not even dressed for the occasion. And I'm wearing a tank top because right now it's 82 degrees out here, and it's December 10th. So yeah, well, you know, it just is what it is. Another big thing that happened this year for us is we broke 50,000 subs.
High five. Woohoo! Martin goes, okay, we just hit 50,000, and we're like high-fiving and dancing, and we're like, yay! And we want to say thank you, guys.
Yeah, I
Thank
mean,
you.
the guys that make this happen. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not like we're over there going, sub. You can't do that. People actually have to like your content and say, you know what, I like these people. Boom, I'm going to subscribe. But speaking of subscribing, this is just something I just thought of. We met a guy 2 days ago down here in RGV. We went to the store, go grocery shopping. We're going through the produce department. This voice says, hey, RV Street.
Yeah.
And we both turned, and this guy walks up to us, and he says, hey, Martin, Joanie, right? And I said, yeah. And his name was John. He says, yeah, man. He says, I've been watching your channel for quite a while. In fact, I bought a place down here because I watched your video or videos on how to live down here and buy property and blah, blah, blah. He says, where have you been? I haven't seen you in a while. And I said, well, are you subscribed? And he says, yep. I said, but did you go to the right of that subscribe button and push the notification bell and click all so you'll be notified? And he said, no. I said, well, there you have it. I said, I've been putting out a video for years every 3 weeks, but you haven't been notified because you didn't click the bell. This is just a message to all of you who have subscribed. All 50,000 of you. Actually, it's 54 now.
Yeah.
Go back to my main YouTube homepage. You're going to see that you're already subscribed, but go to the right, click the bell, and then push that little button that says all. And that way, every time I upload a video, you're going to get a little notification. RV Street just uploaded a new video. Okay? You can see us every 3 weeks.
Oh, yippee skippy.
So another big accomplishment that RV Street has made this year.
What?
Huh? What?
What did we do?
We made the top 14 YouTube
Oh.
RV channels to watch.
Yeah, that was pretty cool when I saw that. I was like, hey, Martin, check this out.
Yeah, we had one of you contact us through Facebook on Messenger. And they said, Martin, I just saw this on YouTube. You guys made the top 14 RV YouTube channels to watch. You know, it takes so long to build a YouTube channel, and a lot of times it's like, oh man, there's not a lot of reward, you know, especially in the beginning. You have to have the long goal in mind. You got to keep your eyes focused. But now we're starting to get some
Momentum.
and that one was pretty good.
Yeah. That actually just put a big smile on my face. I was like, you know, it's totally worth it. It doesn't take much to make us happy, apparently.
It doesn't. It really doesn't. We're easy to please.
I guess so.
Another big accomplishment. This is a different kind of accomplishment, but this accomplishment is said with great gratitude and thankfulness. And this is how you guys have used our Amazon store. It's just been amazing. I mean, most of you go to Amazon anyway, just like we do. We shop on Amazon all the time. But you guys have chosen to use our Amazon store link to go to Amazon first. We have no idea what you guys buy on Amazon. We don't see any of what you buy, and we don't see who buys. All we know is that we see the commissions that we made off of purchases that you guys make.
And I'll tell you, we are very, very grateful for that.
It-
For you guys just even thinking about it and taking the time to click on us first.
Yeah,
You know, and so thank you.
yeah. And as you've heard many times in my videos, I always say using my Amazon store is a great way to say thank you, Martin. Thank you for taking the time to make these videos and help the RV community. Well, you've been doing that. It's just been, it so helps support us. We don't beg for money. We're not on Patreon or Patron, whatever you call it. We don't have a tip jar. We don't ask for GoFundMe stuff. We don't do any of that. We work, we produce, and we just ask that, you know, folks use our store if you're going to go there anyway and buy stuff. And you guys have done that. So I just don't even know how to say thank you enough other than thank you.
Thank you.
Let's get to the more somber news of this year. I came to Joanie the other day, a couple days ago, and I asked her, do you think we should even mention on our channel that I just got diagnosed with liver cancer? And we talked about that back and forth and back and forth. Because I didn't want to dramatize everything, and it's a personal matter and all of that.
But, you know, overall, we thought, you know, you guys are our family, and you guys really should know this.
Yeah. So I'm going to create another playlist. I'm going to try, depending on how I'm able down the road, to do a video about once a month and bring an update on what we're going through.
Yeah, basically, we've decided just to kind of just give updates. They're, you know, not going to be in great detail, but we feel that you guys, you know, should know where we're at and what we're doing and how Martin is doing.
Yeah. Now, that's not the only videos. That's in addition
Yeah.
to everything else I'm going to be doing. Because right now, as we're talking right this minute, I've already got videos done, completed, and uploaded to YouTube and scheduled to be released all the way to May. I've got some really good stuff coming out next year. So, how did we get here to where we are today? It all started in 1995. I had some issues going on with my legs, and I went to the VA hospital because I am a Purple Heart veteran, and I have never tapped into that system before. I didn't have insurance at the time, and so I said, I got to have something. I got to find out what's going on. Well, during that diagnosis, they came to me and said, by the way, do you know that you have hepatitis C? And I said, what is that? And that began my journey of dealing with hepatitis C and going through 2 different unsuccessful treatments. And then years later, I finally enrolled into another treatment, which was successful. And it knocked out that hepatitis C. So now, about 15 years later, if you remember the video that I just produced here just a few weeks ago, remember the pain that I had in my back shoulder? Remember? The things that I did in that video helped a lot getting down here. But once we got here in RGV for the winter, that it still was gnawing at me. It was back up in here. And I finally told Joanie, I need to go see a doctor. I did a walk-in to the VA clinic here in McAllen, Texas. After I explained everything, they ordered a CT scan. When the CT scan came back, they're like, there's something going on here. We need a better image. We're going to send you back for another 3-phase CT scan. I went back for that. They came back. Now their eyes are really open, like there's something going on serious down in your liver. We need an MRI. I had the MRI done just this Tuesday. 3 or 4 days ago.
Yeah.
So I had the MRI done on Tuesday. Wednesday morning, my doctor calls me. And he says, Martin, he says, you know, you and I have gotten to know each other. He says, I know that you kind of really have a good understanding of your liver and this and that and the other. He says, I normally would like to talk to you in person, but are you okay talking over the phone? And I said, yes. He said, well, I got your report back from the MRI, and it's not good. And I immediately said, hang on. And Joanie was outside, out here, sitting in the patio. I said, Joanie, get in here. You need to hear this. and he began to read the report, the summary of the doctor that reviewed the MRI. In a nutshell, I have liver cancer. It seems to be pretty widespread. There's probable, not guaranteed, but probable that it has traveled and it might have gotten into my bones and maybe my lymph nodes, but further testing is required to see if that has happened. My doctor is immediately looking for and has put an order in for an oncologist. So as it stands right now, I feel totally healthy.
He does.
I've gotten all my winter maintenance done on the coach and on the car. My blood work is perfect. My doctor even was amazed. He said, Martin, you look at your blood work. It is absolutely perfect. And it's been perfect for years. There's never been a red flag.
And that is why this has spread so much, because there was never a red flag. We had no idea, and neither did the doctors.
No.
Yeah.
I get that done every year. I go to my primary care doctor, get blood work and whatever else I need, and everything is just like, they look at me and go, man, Martin, you're eating good, your blood work's great, your cholesterol's great, all your enzymes are great, all this.
Why couldn't you have just gotten crappy blood work back?
But be that as it may, this all stemmed from hepatitis C. I have always kept this channel to the facts, right? I've always kept it to where I want to not wander off on all these different trails. I pick a subject, we stay on the subject, and we go through that subject and we learn it from start to finish on how to repair it, how to fix it, how to maintain it, or whatever. And I've never brought into these videos my personal problems or personal beliefs or whatever. It's just not the place to do that. But I do want to say this. Joanie and I are Christians. We totally believe in God's power. And those of you who also believe in Christ and in God, we're asking you to pray that God will guide us for the right team that will be able to take us through what we're fixing to walk through with. It's like RV traveling, right? You got to have a plan. You got to know where you're going, where you're staying, where you're going to eat, where you're going to get gas. What happens if you break down? You have all that planned while traveling. Well, we're fixing to do travel too, but it's a different kind of trip. We're going to be traveling to doctors and testing and hospitals, and we need a plan. And we need a team that will help us execute that plan. So pray for us about that, please.
Please.
Okay, on a lighter note, like I said, this is our Christmas video. Christmas has always been my favorite holiday.
Yes, it has.
Joanie's not so much, not as much as me. I mean, she's always enjoyed it, but to her it's always been, oh gosh, great, we got to get out all the decorations and all this and the...
And then, of course, you got to figure out what to buy, people.
Yeah. And when I first met her, since I loved Christmas, I was always big into the decorations and just all kinds of stuff. I loved seeing the lights, the music, the spirit of Christmas, and all of that. And this.
Oh, wait, I'm more bah humbug. Seriously.
You weren't that bad.
I don't know, close.
But the day after Christmas, okay, December 26th, she was like, okay, we need to get all this stuff put up. I don't want all this stuff around my floor and on the walls. And it was done. We wanted to get it back in the crates, put it back in the attic, and get life back to normal.
Yep.
This year, like all years, we put up our decorations here on the RV, right?
Yeah.
What did we do today?
1 string of lights and 2 Santa hats.
Yep.
Just like last year, in fact.
Our Christmas decorations now, you can fit into a Home Depot plastic bag.
Actually, I think you could probably fit it into a freezer bag.
In a freezer bag, one of those Ziploc freezer bags, yeah. But I always in the past have always referred to Christmas as Christmas. Because that's what it is. If you look at Christmas, it's Christmas. So it's Christmas. And we are grateful for Christmas and all that it embodies and what it means. And even though This Christmas, we're going to be going through some different things. I'm confident that we're going to be just fine. May get a little messy, who knows, but it's still Christmas. Joanie and I just want to say that we hope your Christmas is full of joy and gratefulness. Gratefulness.
Yeah. Merry Christmas, everyone.
You know, there's so much to be grateful for, and you never know what tomorrow's going to bring. So being very grateful for today is on the top of the menu, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So until next time, well, Joanie says that she really likes doing this. So why don't you guys do this with Joanie? You've heard me do this a million times. Ready? So until next time.
This is RV Street. Stick around. I really like doing that.
You got to go, stick around.
Stick around.
That's better.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas.